You've made it to defining action steps. You've gotten beyond foundational coaching, beyond exploring solution techniques, and client centered coaching. Now it's time to put your client into a bias towards action. What is a bias towards action? Continually moving towards your end goal. Let's talk about it. What will you use to push your client in a bias towards action to shift them from procrastination and stagnation into a process of stability? Action is founded upon logical thought processes and the ability to remain focused when opposition is present. How will you effectively listen, actively listen, and recenter your client on what their goal is to be able to place them in a bias towards action? That is what this module itself encompasses. Number one, awareness versus application. When it comes to our personal growth and development, it's not enough to simply be aware of something. We must also apply what we have learned. So let's talk about it with the client. Them simply being aware of the strategies you may have given them, the insight and the wisdom is not enough. You have to help them see forward. You have to help them understand forward thinking to get them into that bias towards action. Helping them become aware of a concept or a principle is only the first step in the process of growth. It's like having knowledge stored in your head, but until you apply it in your life, it remains dormant. This is the difference between theoretical knowledge and practical wisdom. Let's say that again. Your client can have it in their head what you have discussed. You can have it in your head what you may have read in a book. But until you apply it in your life, it is dormant. It is dead. It is stuck and it is stagnant. So it's theoretical, but guess what we have to do? We have to put theory into practice. And that's where the practical wisdom takes place. Imagine you learning a new coaching technique at Elevate Coaching and Leadership Academy. You attend class, you listen to the instructor, you're taking notes, you are absorbing it, you are excited, you are encouraged. You leave the class feeling like, wow, I just gained some knowledge. You are aware of the technique. However, when you leave class, if you never apply that knowledge in your real life coaching scenarios, that knowledge will be of little use. It's like owning a toolbox, but never using the tools inside. It's like me having to write a paper. You have to write a paper for your final exam. And it's like you having all the pens, all the gadgets, all the things to write out your paper. But if you never pull the pen out of the box, will the paper ever come to surface? If you never pull out your keyboard to begin typing, will the paper ever come to surface? That's what this is about. That is what we're dealing with. That's what we're talking about. You are helping your client pull out their toolbox. You are helping your client pull out the ink pen. You are helping your client put on their shoes, tie them up, and take the first step. They can't help you fix anything. Neither can you help them fix anything unless there is action. Applying what you've learned, applying what your client has learned will be the first step. Putting that knowledge into practice, you gain experience, you gain insights that go beyond what you gained just from your understanding. That action gives you a level of expertise and it becomes tangible because now guess what? A narrative has been created. You can now talk about that thing. You now have a pattern that has been orchestrated as a result of that thing. In this bias towards action, you must have an understanding of where the client has been, where they are, and where they want to go. Clarity and understanding is key. If you need to ask clarifying questions, please do so. Never assume. Never let them say, for example, I'm just tired. And you assume that they're saying they're tired because it's hot outside and they've been working in the yard all day. What if it means they are mentally tired? What if it means that they are tired and they can't get their finances together and they just give up and they're not going to pay any bills anymore? You have to have a full understanding. Ask questions around what behaviors have become patterns for them. Ask questions around what needs to be celebrated in their life. What do they feel they've missed out in life? As you prepare your client to remain balanced in opposition, you are grooming, here we are again, their AQ, their IQ, and their EQ. Adaptability quotient, intelligence quotient, and emotional quotient. We talked about these in a previous module, right? So let's go a little bit deeper. Adaptability quotient, being able to adapt when chaos is around you. Can you adapt? Intelligence, yes, you have the degree, but will you apply it? Emotional, you're in the midst of a sad situation. Maybe something horrific has happened. Do you have the emotional intelligence to deal with that situation and still show up? All of these factor in the success when you prompt the action in your client. Action readiness. Let's talk about that. Can your client relate how they will get to their next place? Can they tell you? Do they have a plan? Do they have a strategy? Do they know who they will need, what they will need, when they will need it, and by when? Superficial desires will only debilitate and give a false sense of direction. They need a plan. They need action steps. Consider reading People Styles at Work by Robert Bolton. It is an amazing book that talks about, is your client a tiger, an amiable, an analytical, or an expressive? Another word for the tiger is driver. They're the type of person, just tell me what you need and I'm going to do it. They're not going to ask many questions. That amiable, they're going to take what you need done, go process it for a couple of days, and then come back, possibly ask questions, and then move forward with what you need. Is your client an analytical? They need all of the information. They got 1,000 questions because they need to be clear. Or is your client an expressive? They have to get past their emotions and then they'll perform. Knowing your client's work style is pivotal to their success. Again, the book is People Styles at Work by Robert Bolton. You can find it on Amazon. Okay? Now, we have a communication worksheet as well. And that is under, when you complete this module and take your quiz and you go to the next part of action steps, you'll see influence and communication worksheet, and you'll see the dealing with difficult people worksheet as well. Pay close attention to these worksheets. It's going to give you tools and strategies that you can use with your clients. If you have any questions on the worksheets, anything that you would like to share, there is a section for student comments. Please feel free to comment. I will go in on every module if you have a comment that you would like to enter and put in your comments as well. Action steps. Don't forget it. They are pivotal to your client's success. Good luck.